Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Are you listening to the right podcast? Because you're supposed to be listening to Three Guys in a Flick. Are you listening to that right now? Then you're in the right place. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Now hold on, team. Gary has already proven to me that he is 100% committed to the team. He proved it last night by sucking my... Welcome back. You are listening to Three Guys and a Flick. This is where we review the good, the bad, and the absurd. Tonight's episode, Team America, World Police. Beware spoilers. Coming to you from Bakalakadaka Street, my name is Don. And to my right, we have the comic book guy, John.
Durka Muhammad Ali.
And to my left, the professor, Ken.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm not too bad. You?
I'm getting ready to celebrate a fun 4th of July. How about you?
Absolutely. Fucking happy birthday, America.
Fuck yeah.
This is our 4th of July special episode. So, America,
Fuck yeah.
this one's for you. Released on October 15th, 2004, Team America World Police was directed by Trey Parker. Written by Trey Parker, Matt Stone, and Pam Brady. And it stars Trey Parker, Matt Stone, and a bunch of other marionettes.
How'd this movie do, Don?
This movie was made for $32 million and brought in $51 million.
I was wondering if, besides the fact that it's a puppet movie, if one of the reasons it did so poorly is Paramount actually pulled it out of a lot of theaters.
They did, and that's probably why. And I hate to correct you, but they're more like marionettes than puppets, so it's a marionette movie.
What's the difference?
A marionette is controlled by strings, and a puppet is when you stick your hand up its ass and make it talk.
So I would be a puppet.
You would be a puppet, and the professor, you can laugh, dude, it's okay. And professor would be a marionette.
Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome. I'm glad we can educate here on our show. This is the second movie from the South Park guys, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, that the three guys have reviewed. Had you guys seen this movie before?
Yes.
I had seen it once before, and I remember back then I didn't enjoy it that much.
What?
Wow. I mean...
I actually liked Basketball better.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I think Basketball is a better movie myself, but I do enjoy some marionette action movies every once in a while as well.
I kind of went into this because I think this is the second time I've seen this movie. I went into this movie with a grudge, with a big chip on my shoulder against this movie. So it was kind of doomed from the start.
All right, now we have to bite. What's the fucking grudge?
He doesn't like actors.
Did you ever watch Saturday morning cartoons?
Yeah, all the fucking time.
There were times in my household, I don't know why, but the only thing I could watch was the Thunderbirds. Did you ever watch an episode of the Thunderbirds?
I have indeed watched an episode of the Thunderbirds. Have you, Professor?
Yes, I have.
That was the most god-awful trick on kids. I figured, here you think it's going to be a puppet, it's going to be fun, they're going to make jokes, they're going to be lively. No, they tried to have a serious marionette type of show with serious plot lines, things going on, and it was just, I just got so angry at that show every time it was on.
So because of the Thunderbirds, if I'm understanding this correctly, Professor, he had a grudge for Team America because of the Thunderbirds.
Yep, that's what I hear.
Well, I am sorry, bud, because this movie was fun, and it had me laughing out loud more than once. But did you laugh out loud at all?
There were a couple points that I did laugh out loud.
Oh, okay.
And the songs, the music are very creative. The whole movie is very creative.
I guess these guys, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, wanted to make this movie after, or they got the idea for this movie after seeing that The Day After Tomorrow's coming out, and they wanted to do an all puppet version of it. But because of legal reasons and lawyers, they couldn't do it, so they came around to this. And they thought that this was going to be a super easy fucking shoot because you didn't have actors.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you didn't have to deal with them or any of their idiosyncrasies. But yeah, no, it turns out that they said that this was the worst movie ever to make.
Yeah, they also said that they will never, ever make a puppet movie again.
Yeah.
And I guess also around the same time, Jonathan Frakes he was directing a live action version of the Thunderbirds. So they thought the timing was perfect to come out with this movie.
Sure. And I guess the first time they screened it or they showed footage to Paramount, it's the opening sequence where you see the janky looking marionette and the janky looking background. And I guess one of the execs went, they fucked us.
Yeah, it was a total prank.
And they pulled back and I kind of thought that too when I first turned it on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the sets were pretty fucking amazing.
Well, the funny thing too regarding the budget and everything is when Paramount first heard about this movie, they immediately greenlit it because they thought it's a puppet movie. They're not hiring real actors. They're not doing big, extravagant locations. We're going to save a ton of money on this movie.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Professor, have you seen South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut?
Not the movie. I saw a couple episodes of South Park, but not the movie.
Have you seen the movie, John?
Yes, and I loved it.
Okay. These guys are kind of known for writing tunes for their songs. They do it in this. They did it in Basketball. What do you guys think of the music in this?
I thought the music was really well done, for shock value, things like that, and creating catchy tunes that make you giggle, laugh, and I can't believe they actually said that kind of situations.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, it didn't bowl me over in any way.
No.
Do you know who was a big fan of the music for this?
Who?
Sodenheim.
Oh, yeah. No, I did hear that,
Yeah,
actually.
he wrote them a letter to say wrote to Trey Parker how much he loved the music and how he'd love to work with him. And do you know what that led to?
The Book of Mormon.
The Book of Mormon.
Have you seen the Book of Mormon?
I have several times.
I have not seen it. Have you seen it?
No.
I would be very interested to see the Book of Mormon.
It is worth. I think I would almost say it's better than anything else he's ever done. Now, you mentioned something about the casting, and there was a lot of, I guess it took like 4 or 5 people to work each marionette and everything. But instead of talking about the casting, let's talk about the characters that they put in the movie. Like, you got your Matt Damon, you got your George Clooney.
Oh, you're talking about the celebrities.
The celebrities that they lampooned in this movie that they parodied.
Did you have a favorite one?
One of my favorites was the Matt Damon character, in that the story behind him was they originally, since both Matt and Trey are friends of Matt Damon and love him, they were going to make him very intelligent and articulated, and they're going to have him speak in several situations until they saw the puppet and thought the puppet looked a little special. So they decided just to make him say his name because of how special he looked.
Yeah. And I hear tell George Clooney said he would have been offended if he wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, and Alec Baldwin, too, loved being in the movie.
Did you have any celebrities that jumped out at you, or were they all kind of just...
They were all kind of just.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did like Alec Baldwin. He was calm and cool, and I just like the premise of the celebrities controlling everything or having the most power. Because, what Matt and Trey are doing are lampooning Hollywood, Bruckheimer, America. They're setting their balls on the table, and they're just laying it all out there. And I, for one, think it's at times fucking hilarious.
Well, in an interview, Trey Parker said one of the points behind this movie was the fact of, everybody hates America for being the world police, and it's not a job that we want to do, but it's a job we do. And it's just like, everybody hates the cops, but you need them. You need to have them there. So they have to be dicks, but you still need them to be the dicks that they are. There was one celebrity, at least that I know of, that wasn't pleased with being in this movie.
There was a couple of them.
Couple of them?
Sean Penn, who wrote them, and at the end of his letter said, "Fuck you guys."
He said sincerely, fuck you.
Yeah, and then Michael Moore didn't like it either.
Oh, yeah.
So, but they blew him up.
Did you hear why they put Michael Moore in this movie?
Because Matt Stone was interviewed when Michael Moore did the Columbine documentary, and Matt Stone lived close to Columbine.
Was it Matt or was it Trey?
It's Matt.
Was Matt. Well, he interviewed him, and then while he was interviewing him, I guess I haven't seen Bowling for Columbine, but there's some animated sequence, and Michael Moore kind of let people believe that Stone had something to do with that animated sequence, and he never corrected people on it, and he got very upset for being associated with that animated sequence.
Yeah. And just to throw it out there, Matt and Trey are diehard Bronco fans, so already 2.5 for me. So there you have it.
Did you know that North Korea tried to have this film banned?
Oh, shocker.
They did not want it to be shown, I guess, in the closest country to them, the Czech Republic, but they failed and it got shown all over, and they were pretty pissed about it.
Yeah, I can't imagine why Matt and Trey turned their leader into a alien cockroach. So, nah, we're not mad, right?
One of the other big issues they had with making this movie is they had scripted it all out and decided what they were going to do, and then when they got to the point of filming some scenes, it wouldn't work with the marionettes. So they had to constantly, throughout the entire film, rewrite scenes. And so that really drove both Matt and Trey crazy.
Yeah, like I said, they hated this fucking shoot,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Is it about that time, Don?
Oh, why, yes, boys, it is about that time. Welcome to another edition of Master Movie Trivia. I am your reigning champ. You may call me the champ. I have compiled 5 questions and 5 questions only to test your knowledge of the movie we are reviewing. Each question could be worth multiple points, so if you know the answer, say it. And please wait until I finish each question. Let us begin. Question number 1. According to the song, how much does freedom cost?
$1.
Ooh, that's close. Any guesses there?
Mm-mm.
$1.05.
Gotta say
$1.05. What would you do? Question number 2. Where did the Arabs strike first in the opening film sequence?
Paris.
Paris. Point.
Did you notice that the streets were lined with croissants?
Yeah. And Panama is all weed trees.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's Cairo or somewhere, all of the palm leaves are dollar bills.
Mm-hmm.
So, question number 3. What must Gary promise Lisa before she'll make love to him?
He won't die.
That he'll never die.
I love that he says beforehand, he goes, I can't promise not to die. I would make love to you right now if you could promise me that. I won't die.
Yeah. I mean, he changes his tune real quick. Question number 4. What was the name of Team America's master computer?
Intelligence.
Nice.
Do you want to know what
There's the
intelligence
time.
stands for?
Oh, please fucking lay it on me.
Yeah, because they said it every time. No, they never said it in the movie.
It stood for Integrated Network for Technical Espionage Linked to Lossless Interpretation of Geometric and Electronic Networked Cluster Epitomes.
Yeah, there you go. And question number 5. What is the title of the Broadway musical in which Gary is starring in?
Lease.
Ooh, there's a tie again. All right. After adding it all up, tonight we are in a tie.
Again.
Again. Neither, what?
I'll say so. Neither one of us are close to what legendary status.
Legend, wait for it, dairy. Legendary status.
Everyone has ace. Ace, ace, ace. Ace, 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 ace. Everyone has ace.
Team America, an international organization dedicated to counterterrorism, defeats a group of Islamic terrorists in Paris, accidentally destroying the Eiffel Tower, Arc de Triomphe, and the Louvre in the process. The team includes Lisa, an idealistic psychologist, her love interest Carson, Sarah, a psychic, Joe, a jock who is in love with Sarah, and Chris, a martial arts expert who harbors a hatred toward actors. Carson proposes to Lisa, but a terrorist kills him in the middle of the act. Team America leader Spotswood brings Broadway actor Gary Johnston to Team America's base in Mount Rushmore and asks him to use his skills in acting to infiltrate a terrorist cell. Unbeknownst to the team, North Korean dictator Kim Jong-il is supplying terrorists across the globe with WMDs. Gary infiltrates a terrorist group in Cairo, the team is discovered, and a chase ensues, ending with Team America killing the terrorist. However, Cairo is left in ruins, drawing criticism from the Film Actors Guild. a union of liberal Hollywood actors led by Alec Baldwin.
So our film opens up with what looks like a really cheap marionette presentation that kind of tricks you at first, as you were saying earlier, Don, into thinking that this is how the movie's going to be.
But instead, it's a marionette doing a marionette show.
Yeah, I fucking loved it. What did you guys think of this whole opening bit?
I thought it was a good swerve.
Yeah?
If I hadn't seen it coming, like, because I'd seen the movie before and had read about it, I would have thought, oh, yeah, they fucked you.
Yeah, kind of.
So when the camera pulls back and then we see the world of Paris with all the different marionettes moving around, I was instantly intrigued with the backdrop, the model, and the exceptional detail of all of Paris. And that was something that I always enjoyed wherever we went in the movie, was just looking at the backdrop.
And, you know, they portray life as just like any other movie would, and each marionette had their own job. And we see this little kid walking down the street and he bumps into a terrorist, and immediately the music changes and the mood changes. Like, what they were trying to do was make it have a Jerry Bruckheimer feel. And it really did. And I could feel the action kind of building up only because it's so over the top.
Mm-hmm.
The way this whole builds, right?
You also get a feeling right in the beginning that this is not going to be like a socially acceptable type movie, that they're going to be basing off a lot of stereotypes and shock humor and things like that.
Oh, yeah. But you have to kind of know that going into it because they're from South Park.
The irreverence will be high.
Yes. Yes. And we meet the team. What'd you guys think of the introduction of Team America?
What's not to like? They were great.
Do you guys have a favorite one?
Gosh, I don't know. Gary, Lisa.
Take your pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't know, Carson, because he dies early.
That's your favorite?
No. I don't know. I think the which one was the martial artist?
Chris.
I think I like Chris because of his interactions with Gary.
Yeah.
And whenever they did the martial arts scenes with him.
Oh, those were pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Kia! I like how, you know, they're painting this picture and they're trying to stop the terrorists with the WMDs, and they pull out the bazooka and shoot, and they hit the fucking Eiffel Tower. And it's, I think it's Joe, and he goes, "Oh, I missed."
Well, you guys were mentioning how much you love the backgrounds and how much work obviously went into that. I think what I kept looking for in this movie, watching the backgrounds, is all the destruction that was happening behind the scenes. And, you know, when they were fighting and they were moving along, and you see all the destruction behind them.
And 90% of that is practical.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the crew that worked on this film, like, for example, the cinematographer was sick of doing CG projects, and he wanted something practical.
Yeah, that's right.
And someone said, "Hey, the South Park guys are doing a practical marionette movie," and he was like, "Fuck it, I'm in." So this movie actually looks beautiful. I mean, it's well shot for a marionette movie, I guess. And so, you know, they blow up the Eiffel Tower, and then they manage to destroy the Louvre, and they're fucking everything up for trying to get the WMD.
Right. And, you know, it's just lampooning how America is such, so careless, if you will, and they are reckless in having their own agenda. And when it's all over with, the explosions, you know, there they are, and it's all right, everyone, we've stopped the terrorists.
And the people of Paris are looking around like, what the fuck?
Well, it makes me think of every, like, Tom Cruise movie, whether it's Mission Impossible or any Jason Bourne movie, any of those, that, yeah, the guy wins the day, but then if you think about all the explosions and all the people that died along the way and the car crashes and all that, it left the town in destruction.
Collateral damage.
Yeah, that movie too.
So they think that they saved the day, but yet there's one terrorist left, and he kills Carson.
He gets up out of that fountain.
Who we just met, but you had to have that trope,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the team's like, oh, and it turns out that Carson just proposed to Lisa, and now he's dead.
He dies in Lisa's arms.
Tragic. And the camera pulls back, and we get a scream, and yeah. And then we cut to,
Looks like New York City.
it looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like watching the cars drive when you look at the city and everything. And now we're at Broadway and we're watching Lise. And we can see Spotswood in the shadows watching Gary, who is our protagonist.
And he's acting the hell out of it.
What'd you guys think of this whole take on Rent?
It was fun.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Rent?
No, have you?
Yes.
Of course you have.
Of course he has.
Have you?
No.
Okay.
It was a pretty good parody of Rent. I mean, that's almost the whole premise of Rent is everyone dies from AIDS, basically, or everybody has it.
Wow. Well, that sounds uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
And so it turns out that Spotswood is the head of Team America, and he has this idea that an actor can have the smarts or intelligence to infiltrate and become, like the greatest weapon.
Well, if you think about it, every super team needs an actor. I mean, look at the A-Team. They had Face.
Absolutely. That's a fucking great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of this meeting when Spotswood goes up to Gary and says,
I have an incredible offer for you.
hey, you're not going to get me in your limo and stick your finger inside of me or make me perform oral sex on you.
Oh, I get it. I'm supposed to get in your car and let you put your finger inside me. Then, if I go down on you, I get a movie part.
Spotswood's like, no, Gary, despite what you think, not everybody in Hollywood is a homosexual.
But would that be is that either a foreshadowing of what happens later on, or is that going to be a callback from later?
It's a callback.
It's a callback?
It's a callback. Well, I guess it could be foreshadowing because it's an action.
Yeah, because he has to prove later his loyalty.
I love it.
his-
And so, yeah. And so Spotswood convinces him, no, nothing like this is going to happen. And he gets in the car and Spotswood immediately goes to, now suck my cock.
I love the stretch Lamborghini, too.
And they're driving and it takes off and Gary goes, a limo that turns into a flying car? Now I've seen everything. And Spotswood goes, have you seen a man eating his own head?
Then you haven't seen everything.
I love the writing. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And so they fly to Mount Rushmore.
Well, the Lamborghini, it valmorphosizes.
Which turns it into a plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they fly away, and Spotswood takes Gary to headquarters, which is in Mount Rushmore. I love how George Washington's jaw drops, his tongue comes out, and then the Lamborghini flies in, which makes it look like he's, hilarious. It's so funny. What'd you guys think of the meeting where Team America gets to meet Gary?
I thought it was fine. I thought it was good.
Yeah. And is it Chris that takes an instant disliking to him? Because we obviously know each person has their own little story element that we have to get to later.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where they pitch the idea. You're an actor. You can do this. And, some of the members are like, fuck this actor. We don't need him. But ultimately he gets talked into it.
And they do this $1 million surgery on him.
Okay, but first he turns them down.
Oh, that's right. He does turn them on.
First, Gary turns them down.
Oh,
and then
that's right.
Baxter will take him wherever he wants to go.
I love how he goes, Spotswood.
Lisa gives him a card, something.
Right.
Callback.
I love how Spotswood goes, if you don't want to do it, there's the door. And it pauses for a moment and Gary goes, okay, thanks. And he walks out the door. And then we get that great song. It's probably one of my favorite songs of the movie.
Which one's that one?
What would you do if you had to give up your freedom? I don't know if those are words, but that's my fucking second favorite song.
And we had a little montage of him looking at the different historical landmarks.
Around DC.
Did this perspective fuck you up at all?
No.
It was really good.
Well, if you notice a few of the places, he was the size of a marionette, whereas the landmark was huge, especially like at the Vietnam Wall.
Yeah.
He was tiny compared to how big that wall is.
Yeah, well, they shot him in front of the actual monument, so they had to use perspective with the camera. And I thought they did a great job. Very convincing. Because it convinces Gary to go back and join the team.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think of the whole transformation bit?
You know, I know that they make, jokes of being very stereotypical and things like that. But the fact that the beard looked like it was just taped on and was hanging off, that was kind of funny.
I thought it was hilarious because you know what it looked like? It looked like pubes.
Yeah.
It looks like pubes that were randomly spattered on his fucking face, even though they went through this big, elaborate sequence.
He looked awful.
And did you see that they just painted his face brown?
He was still light-skinned under his eyes.
And around his neck and everything.
And, of course, what did they put around his head?
A turban.
A towel.
A
Was it
towel.
just a towel?
Yeah. So, I mean, these guys.
Around this time, we also get North Korea, Asia, 5,945 miles west of America. I like how each time they do this, they say how far away it is from America because it's always all about America.
Fuck yeah.
And so we are introduced to our antagonist of the movie, Kim Jong-il.
I love the way Trey Parker did this because he sounds a lot like Cartman to me from South Park.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
And just, he's such a dig. Is this where Hans Bricks comes to visit him?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
No, he gets on the line with oh wait, maybe it is, and then he's thrust into the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then right after that, then he gets on the line with all the terrorists, and they have their WMDs now.
Right.
What I loved about this scene with Hans going into the tank is those were real little sharks.
Yeah, those are little nurse sharks.
And so they really did get them to tear that mannequin apart.
Yeah, same with the Panthers later
Cats.
on. Yeah. I love just the way he James Bond villains him, right? He lures him into a trap. He goes into the tank with the sharks, and then he just goes crazy. Fuck you, Hans Bricks. I'll do whatever I want, right? So funny. I think Kim Jong-il had some of the best lines, too.
He's so roamery.
So roamery.
I do enjoy how comical he looked with his glasses and his furrowed brow that he always had.
Yeah.
So now we're in Cairo, Egypt, 5,621 miles east of America. And Team America, they make a very splashy entrance.
Because Gary has to go undercover. And they walk him in, which I always thought was funny.
On the way to the tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice the song that was playing when they got into the tavern?
From Star Wars.
Yeah, it was the Cantina theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing felt very Jabba and Cantina.
Oh, it gets even more Jedi when Gary goes back to the fucking North Korea.
So Gary, he
Well, first of all, he acts his way in.
he acts his way in.
Durka Durka. Muhammad Jihad. So good.
But then he asks if there are any terrorists here.
And they're like, what? And so they pull, the terrorists pull him aside, and now he really has to act his ass off. And so he does. They buy it. You know what I loved about this bit was when Team America's dropping him off, they were like, if you get in trouble, you know the sign, right?
Yeah.
And it's so hard to do on a podcast, but the sign had me fucking rolling every time. His arms flailing in the air.
If you ever watch like Bert and Ernie, that's how Bert used to always wave his arms in
Oh, maybe, yeah.
whenever he got mad. I do like when he's trying to convince, he gets pulled in the back and he's trying to convince the terrorists that he's one of them and why they should, hire him or whatever, is that, he tells the story and he says, so I put a jihad on them. And if you don't, believe me, if you don't hire me, I'm going to put a jihad on you.
Yeah.
And so then suddenly, okay, yeah, they're stirred about, what do they say, like 20 yards from here?
Yeah.
Just like that.
And so they take off, and now there's a chase. And I love when Sarah, she has the mini cannon. She walks into the bar and she goes, Gary? And all the terrorists stand up and they start shooting at her. And then she just mows everyone down except for the waitress. And she goes,
Gary?
Well, I love during the chase scene when Gary's in the back of the Jeep or whatever.
and he's doing the sign.
He's doing the sign and they're like, is that guy just playing with us? They didn't recognize Gary even though he's...
Yeah.
You're looking through the goggles. Kiss me?
Kiss me? So naturally, they're going to catch up to these guys and they're going to blow them up, but not before Lisa on the bike drives, jumps, and lifts Gary out of the...
She rescues Gary.
These were some pretty elaborate chases for marionettes. So my hat's off to them. I mean, just the sheer work that went into this. And then just the reaction, like, yeah, we did it.
Fuck yeah.
So good. So good.
And then when right when Chris takes out the bad guys, he's surprise cockfags.
And then they blow up a fucking pyramid, right?
And the Sphinx.
Yeah, the Sphinx. That's what I meant.
I do love, like, that's one of the things that Trey and Matt always do is they take swears and stuff and they combine them into some newer, like, cockfags and things like that. They just come up with these new words that just, again, shock you.
Yeah, and make you laugh at the same time. So Team America saves the day. Everything's good. However, because Cairo was left in ruins, they've drawn some criticism from the Film Actors Guild, or otherwise known as... what'd you guys think of their involvement in this, starting with Alwick Baldwin?
I thought it was a pretty good
Alric. It's Alric.
That's what I just said.
You said Alwick. Alric.
Alwick. Alwick Baldwin.
Barwin.
Baldwin.
Barwin.
Baldwin.
There you go.
I did think it was a pretty good parody in that Hollywood always does insert themselves into these kind of conflicts, these things around the world. You always hear about Sean Penn being in some Middle East country standing up for their rights.
Whoa. Let's not talk about Sean Penn, because the last thing the three guys need is a letter that ends with, sincerely, fuck you.
If we got that, I would frame it.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, I probably would too. Wait, frame it or the thing about Sean Penn?
Frame the fuck you letter from Sean Penn.
I mean, you should have seen some of the comments when you were in the box.
Yeah, well, I'd be curious to hear about those sometime.
Okay.
Just not now.
What would you do if you were asked to give up your dreams for freedom? What would you do if asked to make
At
the
Mount
ultimate
Rushmore,
sacrifice?
Gary tells Lisa that as a child, his acting talent caused his older brother Tommy to be brutally killed by gorillas. While the two grow close and have sex, terrorists blow up the Panama Canal in retaliation for the Team America operation in Cairo, killing thousands. The Film Actors Guild blame this on Team America, and Kim chastises the terrorists for detonating one bomb too early. Gary, feeling his acting talents have again resulted in innocent people dying, resigns from Team America. The remaining members depart for the Middle East, but are defeated and captured by North Korean forces while Michael Moore blows up Team America's base in a suicide attack. In North Korea, Kim invites the Film Actors Guild and the world leaders to a peace ceremony, planning to detonate several bombs around the world while they are distracted. So the Cairo mission was a success,
And they're celebrating at home.
and they're having a good time, and this is where Gary and Lisa start to,
Get a little flirt on.
I like this bit because of the dialogue. It's funny.
You like the marionette sex.
It's ingenious. Have you ever seen marionette sex like that?
I learned a few things.
See? That's what I'm fucking saying. Am I right or am I right?
You're right.
See? Yeah, I remember when this scene came. I remember when I watched this scene, and I was just like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
Well, let me ask you this. I've read there's two different versions of it.
I've seen both.
And there's the version that was cut down so they didn't get like a...
NC-17.
Yeah, NC-17. They wanted to get it down to R. And then there's the uncut version, the full version that's on the DVD. Well, we watched on Paramount. That was I'm guessing, the cut version.
Yeah. Did you see him?
I've never seen the longer version.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you watch it on Paramount last night too? Or
Yes.
whenever?
Yes.
Did either of you see him poop on her?
No.
Did either of you see him pee on her?
No.
Then you saw the cut version.
How long is the uncut version?
It's like another, well, I think that version, I think, is like 50 seconds. Why are you laughing?
That's awful. Damn it.
Somehow I knew you've seen the uncut version.
How could I not, right? I think the real version's like a minute something, and this one's down to 50 seconds or some shit like that. But
We did briefly talk about it beforehand, but this is the time to talk about it. I do like Lisa. She says that you have to promise me that you'll never die. And he's like, I can't promise that. If you did that, I would make love to you right now. And then the way the tone of his voice changes, I
promise I will never die.
That just cracked me up so much.
You should have watched it with us. I think you would have enjoyed it better.
I'll say, who hasn't been in that situation?
Oh my gosh, so funny. And so it works. And yeah, we kind of went out of order, but you guys get the gist of it.
So you thought it was brilliant the way it was designed, set up?
The sex scene?
Yeah.
Oh, I did. I thought it was funny. I liked the way their heads would shake, especially Gary's and his hair.
Yeah. I pulled the wife in. Hey, come here, watch this. And she laughed at it.
I thought it was hilarious. I didn't think they would go that far.
Me neither.
But I'm glad that they did, because why not? I mean, like I said earlier, they throw their balls on the table and just let everybody take a swing.
Mm-hmm.
We also got the background of how we have Gary, and he's tortured by the death of his brother, and the blueberries with the gorillas. Yeah,
we kept hearing earlier on, he'd hear the screaming and the thing about his brother, but yeah, we get the full story with the zoo.
Right.
Because everybody's got some backstory.
Right.
After this scene is over, then we get Panama Canal, Central America, 2,193 miles south of the real America.
And I like these shots. They're peaceful at first, and they're quiet, and they're just kind of showing the life. And then, boom, they blow up the Panama Canal. And this model was fucking impressive, because you could see the debris and everything flying at the camera.
Yeah.
And it was very well done.
Mm-hmm. And all the water with the floating.
Oh, my God, with all the floating marionettes.
Did you hear the story behind that one?
Yeah, they had to keep using them, so they would take them out, wring them out, and try to dry them and get them ready for the next shot.
They needed them for other scenes as well.
Yeah. And so back at base, they hear about this, and Gary just spirals.
Well, the worst part is because he hears it from Alec Baldwin, because that is as he puts it, that is the greatest actor out there.
Yeah, the greatest actor alive.
Yeah, and so when he hears Alec Baldwin say it, he then just loses all hope within himself.
Right.
And they get a little temper tantrum from Michael Moore.
And
holding 2 hot dogs covered in mustard.
Because people are protesting now. And there's people outside of base, and people are pissed off.
I love how they say they're watching the TV and they go, hey, that looks like that's right outside.
Yeah.
And they show it's them at the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Everybody knows where their secret base is.
So now we have Gary. He decides that he's going to resign from the team.
But he said he would never leave. He told Lisa he'd never leave.
Yeah, well, he didn't want to be responsible for everybody's death.
Yeah.
That's a lot of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
So Gary leaves, and the team, they're kind of hurting, because now Sarah has revealed that she is upset about Lisa having a night with Gary.
Yes.
And then Joe is upset because Sarah doesn't like him.
Right.
Thinks of him as a brother.
Right. Because, Gary walks out, and it comes out that Gary and Lisa hit it. And so it puts a strain on the team, and Gary leaves, but yet they still have to go do their job. And someone says, this is a suicide mission. And Joe looks down and says, that's okay. I kind of feel like dying anyways.
I know. I did like that line.
And then we get, I don't know which version of the song I like better. The full-on America.
America, fuck yeah.
The melancholy.
Or I think they call it the downer version.
Yeah.
America.
Fuck yeah. And, we can all see what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is every action movie ever made ever since the dawn of time.
Mm-hmm.
Our hero leaves, and the team has to go on without him, but they're not going to succeed in anything. But I did enjoy these shots.
Yeah, I liked how they appeared to be alone in their own thoughts as they were approaching Durkistan.
Durkistan. Is that up the street from Bakadakalaka Street?
Suddenly, they're surrounded by enemy aircraft, and now a dogfight is ensuing between them and they take out the Durkistan Air Force, but now you have the Chinese or
Right.
the North Koreans.
The North Koreans come in,
Wow.
and they're outnumbered.
I do like too how Spotswood is yelling at the intelligence computer. That was bad intelligence. Bad
Yeah.
intelligence.
My bad.
And then there's a submarine as well, and then Chris is down there with his own submarine. I love looking at all these models.
Yeah, they were really fun to look at, and they moved really well on screen, I thought.
Well, I just love that the models all were like U.S. flags, like all patriotic. And
Of course they were, dude. This
They-
movie's called Team America.
it made me think of Evil Knievel,
Oh, sure.
like everything he ever did.
In the meantime, back at the base, Michael Moore is in the hangar with a suicide vest on.
And he decides to blow up Mount Rushmore.
Apparently, he was full of ham.
Yeah.
So when you see him explode, that's little bits of ham everywhere.
Yeah, I read that. That's funny. That's
Mhm.
funny. And in the meantime, Kim Jong-il reveals his plan that he's going to hold a peace ceremony and invite all of the best actors and celebrities to distract the most important people in the world while a bunch of WMDs go off all over the world.
Yeah.
I want to go back to right after Mount Rushmore is destroyed. You have Lisa when she yells, "We've lost intelligence." I repeat, we have no intelligence. I just love that. So the entire team is shot down. All of the vessels are now snafu, kaput. And with that, now you have Kim Jong-il, and he wants their ships destroyed, and he wants Team America. And then we have him. He's having Kim Jong-il. He's having a little pity party, and he's singing "I'm So Lonely."
What'd you guys think of this song?
Oh, I loved it.
It's very catchy, kind of mellow. It fits.
I loved looking at the palace too.
Yeah.
And what an idiot.
How did you like how he goes into that one place where everybody's being tortured
Uh-huh.
and come, just all the things you see in the background going out was kind of fun.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of when Satan sings in South Park.
Mm-hmm.
So, our most evilest villain feeling sorry and having a pity party for himself is funny because, well, he's a fucking villain,
Mhm.
right?
I miss you more than Michael Bay missed the mark when he made Pearl Harbor. I miss you more than that movie missed the point.
Succumbing to depression, Gary is reminded of his responsibility by a rambling speech from a drunk tramp. Returning to the team's base, he finds Spotswood has survived Moore's bombing. After regaining Spotswood's trust by giving him a blowjob and undergoing one-day training, Gary goes to North Korea, where he uses his acting skills to infiltrate the base and free the team, although Lisa is held hostage by Kim. The team is confronted by the Film Actors Guild and kills most of their members in an ensuing fight. After Gary uses his acting skills to save Chris from Susan Sarandon, Chris confesses to Gary that the reason he dislikes actors is because he was gang raped by the cast of the musical Cats when he was 19 years old.
This whole thing with Gary in the bar and the guy convinces him that he needs to do his duty. When he goes out into the alley and starts throwing up, what did you think of that whole scene?
That was gross. But leading up to that speech,
I love that speech.
it had me fucking rolling because it's so true.
Yeah.
It's like us as humans in a nutshell.
Pussies can't fuck assholes.
But yet, dicks like to fuck assholes too. So good. But at the end of the day, everybody's covered in shit. The analogy is great. And I love the fact that Gary comes back and brings that back. in his finest acting moment. But yeah, he's doing the whole drunk thing. And to get back to your point about the puke, my God, could there be a longer puking scene? But what sells it, look at this guy, he can't even hold it in. And what sells it is the music. And then the eyes as they,
Well,
it's like he's surprised he's throwing up again.
Well, it's the last one where it's just sputering all over the place. And
oh my God, it was so funny. You know what they made that out of?
I heard it was beer and something.
Soap.
Soap. Okay.
Beer and soap. Yeah. But he finally finishes, collapse, and then the camera pulls up and we can see this big wide shot of him just laying in all this puke.
In the meantime, you have the Film Actors Guild. They meet and they decide that they would be better than the rest of the government or Team America in deciding what the policies should be when it comes to dealing with the world.
Yeah, and this is where we meet a majority of them, of the celebrities. And I believe this is our first take at Matt Damon.
I think we saw him once earlier.
Oh, did we? Oh, we might have.
Yeah.
We might have. That was a good bit.
And they have a new partner, Kim.
Wow. And so now the Film Actors Guild have teamed up with Kim Jong-il to rule the world.
Cut to
They're going to bring about world peace.
Oh, sure. That's what they say.
Cut to Team America being tortured.
What'd you guys think of this whole bit?
I thought it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So Sarah's all beat up she's laying on something.
And she's having that water drip, so maybe it's a slow water torture.
Oh, maybe. And then where is Joe?
Joe's hanging upside down.
That's right. That's right. And then Lisa's in a cage. And so Kim Jong-il comes down and is talking shit and is relaying.
He lays out his entire plan.
Just like a Bond villain.
Just
right?
like a Bond villain.
Yeah.
He's monologuing.
He's monologuing. And he says, you guys are all fucked. And I like when Lisa says something like, you mean it's 9/11 times 1,000? And he goes, oh, no. It's 9/11 times 2,356. My God, what does that mean? No one knows, or whatever that line is. So good.
I actually did the math if you want to know.
I don't.
Okay.
What is it?
It is 2,146,316.
Well, there you go.
Now we have a montage of Gary riding on a bike. I liked watching that, because it was on an actual street.
Yeah, it looked good. Everything is forced perspective. And yeah, I enjoyed it too. And then he pulls up to Mount Rushmore.
Which looks destroyed in the background.
And he's like, oh no. And he runs up there and he finds out, he talks to intelligence.
I like the song that's played. Pearl Harbor sucked.
Oh my God, yes. I miss you like Michael Bay missed the mark at Pearl Harbor. Oh.
And I love you. Oh, and I miss you.
That's what it is.
Pearl Harbor and I miss you.
And so he gets there. He just got back from Bakadakalaka Street. And Mount Rushmore is destroyed. And he walks in there and he talks to intelligence. And intelligence tells him the team has been captured. Everyone's going to die.
A socialist douchebag came in here and destroyed this place.
Right. And WMDs are going to go off all over the world and we're all fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And then Spotswood shows up. He's alive.
Miraculously.
And he wants to blow up all of North Korea.
Right. He's going to blow up the entire country.
Even Team America.
Yeah. Because freedom is at stake here.
And that's what they would want.
That's right. Naturally.
But Gary wants back in.
Gary says, I can do this, Spotswood. And Spotswood's like, yo, you fucking deserted us, bud.
You're a quitter.
And you know what? I don't trust quitters. And you are going to have to prove to me.
He says, you're a butt fucking quitter.
That's right. It's so good.
Now that is Academy Award winning writing.
I think so, man.
I'll trust you, but only if you perform oral sex on me. What?
What? Because everything stops and he's so matter of fact about what?
I like when you hear the
Right
zipper.
here, right now.
Yeah. And so Gary does it. And like you said, you can hear the zip of his fly. Oh, he drops his pants and Gary doesn't want to do it. He goes, well, fine. I guess you don't love America or you don't want to succeed.
Pants back up.
I think the thing that cracked me up about this scene was how slow you see Gary's head from the back of his head to start going down.
He's so reluctant, right? Because he's not sure this is really happening. But then you look at Spotswood, his eyes are closed and he's completely ready for it. It's so funny. But hey, Gary has to prove that he's 100% committed. So,
Yeah.
he does it.
And I thought this would be Professor's favorite song of the movie.
The montage song?
Oh my God, so good too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what we need? We need a montage. And I'm thinking, wait, aren't his friends getting electrocuted and shit right now? Does he have time to be having this training montage? But apparently it worked.
Well, that's how you speed things up. You put it in a montage.
Right. And so now Gary is ready to go get the team.
And Kim Jong-il, he is at the palace and he has all of the world leaders now gathered together. And so this is where, Alec Baldwin takes the stage. And then all the WMDs are going to be detonated. And Lisa is thinking it's over.
Well, the thing that cracked me up in this scene is, again, kind of the comparisons to James Bond when Kim Jong-un says, now is the time for me to, flip the switch. And he flips the switch in 5 minutes.
Yeah. And he takes Lisa with him because she talks back to him. And so he dresses her up just like a villain would do. And she thinks all hope is lost. And then we cut to a brown cloak walking up the stairs, and motherfucker, if that's not Luke walking into Jabba's palace, I don't know what is.
You will let me in.
Totally. Oh, he's a pretty good actor. Let him in. So it fucking worked. And so he gets in, and
And the shooting starts.
Oh, that's right, because it's very Matrixy, right?
Mhm.
Because
Yep.
he drops the cloak and he starts shooting everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you catch the other comparison to The Matrix?
Yeah, later on.
When they're fighting Samuel Jackson, and what does he say?
Quit trying to hit me and hit me.
Yeah, which I guess they put in that joke because Lawrence Fishburne's always being, they're always thinking that Lawrence Fishburne and Samuel Jackson look alike. So they put that joke in.
So Gary gets in and the shooting starts and he discovers the team and he frees them.
Meanwhile, Martin Sheen and Tim Robbins, they're guarding Team America, and Gary lures them away.
Gary's dressed up like a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes down and he says, there's a disturbance or something's happening. And Tim Robbins and Martin Sheen take off. And it turns out that it's Gary.
Because he pulls off the mask.
Because he's acting his ass off.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds the team. And they kind of have a hard time trusting him as well.
Yep, but they agree that they're going to get Lisa.
Well, is this where on the comm Sportswood tells them?
Well, yeah, he says, Spotswood sent me, and they're like, Spotswood's dead. And then Spotswood comes on the intercom and says, no, team, I'm alive. And everyone's like, ooh, ah. And that's when Spotswood tells the team that Gary is 100% committed. And so Joe's reaction is like, oh, okay. Okay, good enough for me. So now they have to go.
The Film Actors Guild, they're going to take up arms and try to stop Team America at all costs.
Out of all of them, what was your favorite celebrity death?
I liked Samuel Jackson with the cats, and his head gets torn off by one of the cats.
That's in my top 3. Yes, absolutely. That was a great one. What about you?
That one was good. I liked Helen Hunt getting cut in half.
And then Janine Garofalo.
That's in my top 3 too.
Her head melting or whatever it was.
Well, it got blown up by a shotgun, so it was half there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. But my favorite one is when Susan Sarandon falls off the balcony and then just splats.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was very splashy.
I love how in that whole scene, was it Joe was ready to believe her or was it Chris?
Oh, no, it was Chris.
Chris was ready to believe her, and he's like, no, she's acting.
Yeah, Gary spotted it right away. And that was a good little play on that whole scenario. This is where Chris tells Gary why he doesn't like actors, and now he's starting to come around a little bit.
I do also want to point out that I love the slow-mo cool walk that the Team America has when they're going to confront the Film Actors Guild, and then you have that same piece of music, Battle Without Honor or Humanity, that we get in Kill Bill.
I was watching that, and I was thinking to myself, that tune, Battle of Honor Without Humanity, whatever it's called, is probably the best slow motion walk down a hallway tune, or
It's so badass.
the gang's coming, or whatever. Yeah, it's so good. And I also like when the team splits up, Sarah's like, no, Joe, I'm going to go with you now. And so
Yeah.
they're starting to heal and get over everything. And Sarah and Joe get trapped, and they're going to get eaten by
The Panthers.
the Panthers.
I love it when the cats come in.
Because they're just such little kitties.
Yeah, they're kitty cats.
And Lisa uses her psychic ability.
No, it doesn't work. Joe is like, you can't do that.
You're not psychic.
But the cats jump through the windows and attack. Who was it? It was Samuel L. Jackson and
Sean Penn.
Down for the Count.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have Chris and Gary. They get knocked out. And Alec Baldwin, he has to give his Film Actors Guild speech. And when he's doing this, Kim Jong-il starts the 5-minute ticking clock.
I like how when Sarah and Joe find Gary and Chris, they're on the ground and they're getting gas dumped all over them. And then you have all of the celebrities there. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was. It was good.
And it ultimately ends with Tim Robbins going up in flames.
I was about to say that might have been one of my favorite deaths in that. Guess what, Tim Robbins? I didn't give up smoking or something.
He says, I am a smoker.
I am a smoker.
And when he threw the cigarette down and lit him on fire, I cheered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, motherfucker.
Take that, Tim Robbins.
So the Team America, they're trying to convince Gary that he has to get up on stage and convince the world leaders, because right now they're against Team America. They have to convince that Kim Jong-il is bad and that they need to arrest him.
And this audience is not supporting them at all.
Not at all.
I'm so lonely, so lonely, so lonely inside real Rome. There's no one, just me only, sitting on
The
my
team crashes the peace ceremony and Gary goes on stage, delivering a recontextualized version of the Tramp's speech, arguing that dicks, though criticized by pussies, are necessary to stop assholes, which convinces the world leaders to unite. Kim betrays and kills Baldwin for being unable to counter Gary's argument, but he is kicked over a balcony by Lisa and impaled on a German delegate's pickle helm. Kim reveals his true form as an extraterrestrial cockroach and flees in a spaceship, vowing to return. Gary and Lisa happily begin a relationship and the team reunites, preparing to fight the world's terrorists once again. Roll credits. So Gary takes the stage and he has to counter Alec Baldwin's actorness, but he's scared. He can't upstage Alec Baldwin.
Greatest actor in the world.
But then Chris says something and says, no, you're pretty fucking good too, guy. And so I love this rendition of the dick, pussy, asshole speech. So funny. He starts off with, we're dicks, and he commands the room.
I love the looks from the other people when he says that, we're dicks.
Yeah. And then he goes through the whole thing, and it's fucking hilarious, you know, because he's saying everything that's wrong with, I don't want to say humanity, but he's kind of saying that. And even though we're all this, that, and the other, it's okay. But in this instance, if you don't let this dick fuck that asshole, we're all going to be covered in shit. It's so good.
And surprisingly, it made sense.
It does make sense. That's what makes it so good, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I love that fucking speech.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And so everybody turns on Kim Jong-il, and he's pissed, right? He's fucking so pissed at Alec Baldwin. Fuck you, Alec Baldwin! And he kills him right then and there. And then Lisa kicks him over the fucking edge.
He's impaled.
And, you know, we think the day is won, but the timer's still going off, and we have to cancel the bomb.
I love how what it is to cancel the bomb.
You mean the big cancel button?
Yeah, just hit. Can you hit the big cancel button?
Oh, so funny. And they do with 0.1 of a second left.
1/100th of a second.
Thank you, Professor. 1/100th of a second. So funny. So funny.
And then Gary, immediately after that, Gary asks Lisa to forgive him. and she's like, shh, you had me at dicks, fuck assholes.
So good, dude. I can't believe you didn't like this more. But, oh well. To each his own, right?
Like I said, PTSD.
Yeah, maybe. I say get over it, but what do I know?
Spotswood tells all of the delegates they need to go home, go back to their countries.
Their countries need them.
And then after that, he sings the praises of Gary.
And how good he was.
Kim Jong-il. His mouth opens up and out crawls a cockroach. What the hell?
What'd you guys think of that whole bit?
That was crazy.
I started to think of Men in Black.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
Me too. I mean, it doesn't... I wouldn't put it past him.
You know, I was thinking when I saw that it leaves the door open for a sequel, but we know Matt and Trey will never do a sequel to this movie.
Yeah. They unlock the place where they're keeping all the vehicles, and we get the tune again. And yeah, that's fucking Team America.
Welcome to a new segment we like to call
Face the wheel.
The premise is simple. I will spin the wheel, and whatever category comes up, John and Don will apply it to the movie that we are reviewing. Once they have presented their idea to me, I will decide the winner of this week's wheel. So here are the categories: mashup, plot, rename, genre, reboot, fuck it. I liked it better when it was called spin again, pick any, add any character from any movie. And here we go. Genre.
I thought for sure he was going to get fuck yeah.
Or fuck it. Genre. Okay, so what type of genre would we consider this to begin with? We would have to say action,
Comedy.
comedy, and musical. I think you could put those three in there. So I think those three should be
Excluded.
excluded.
Mm.
Oh, I got mine. You ready?
Yeah. but-
Well, you ready for mine? I
yeah.
guess I'll go first.
Okay, you go first.
Do you have one?
No.
No? Okay. I'm going to turn this into our horror movie. And there's going to be lots and lots of marionette sex and marionette murder, because that's what makes a really good horror movie. But Team America, even though the world thinks that they're the world police, they're actually serial killers looking for their next score. Kind of like The Strangers, but different.
John?
I am actually going to turn this into a supernatural action thriller kind of movie, on the same premise of, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Puppeteer, as well as
a long time ago.
Toy Soldiers.
Oh, Toy Soldiers. There
The
you go.
idea of it is a Hollywood film set putting on a big production with marionettes about the world police and how these guys are going to save the world, and they're adding all kinds of computer technology to the puppets. In fact, you know, this movie did have a lot of mechanics in there to move their mouth and their eyes and everything. But the computer chips start to go a little bit too intelligent. You know, intelligence takes them all over, and these marionettes think they actually have to save the world. And so they start killing off humanity to save the world.
Wow.
So yeah, so humans actually have to fight back against the marionettes.
Huh.
Well, there you have it, listeners. I suppose I need to check. I need to pick one of these two choices.
Or you could pick no choices and tell us we both fucking suck. But if you do that, you're going to have to prove how committed you are to this team.
Yeah, which are you going to pick? The dick, the asshole, or the pussy?
That's right.
All right, so, I think that I'm going to go with horror this week. So the point goes to Don this week. And that concludes this week's
Face the wheel.
Wise choice, my good professor. Wise choice.
I guess congratulations are in order.
Hey, dude, you kicked my ass 2 weeks in a row, bud.
I was kind of stealing ideas from actual movies, so.
All right, what do you guys think? Are you guys ready to rate this flick?
I'm ready to rate this flick. John, are you ready to rate this flick?
I've got some blueberries in my pocket and no gorilla pit in sight. Let's do this thing.
Professor, how do we do our ratings?
We do our ratings on a scale of 1 to 5 fucks. 5 fucks is a movie that we think is cinematic gold. A 1 fuck movie is where you get done watching it and I'm never watching this again.
And what's a 0?
A 0 fuck movie is you get done watching it, you turn to your buddy and you say, "Oh, for shit's sake, what the hell? Why would you make me watch this? I want 1 hour and 48 minutes of my life back."
Or in other words, we just don't give a fuck. I suppose that because it was my pick.
You go first.
Thanks, buddy. Okay. Team America. Fuck yeah. I'm a big fan of Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I really dig me some South Park. I really enjoyed basketball. I get their humor and it's funny to me. So, that says a lot. Not only that, but they're Bronco fans, so they're okay in my book as well. I thought this movie for the time was inventive. You don't see marionette movies, and as the comic book guy pointed out, there's a reason why. But in this instance, we did get one, and I thought it was different, yet the same to every action movie out there, and whether it's homage or parody or satire, the South Park guys know what they're doing. And I laughed, and there were bits in this where I literally laughed out loud, and I love when a movie can make me do that. Is it a perfect movie? No, not even a little bit. One could call it a guilty pleasure, but I just call it a pleasure. I don't feel guilty about watching it because when I do, this movie makes me laugh. The soundtrack's good. The models and the background and just the attention to detail is very much worth kudos. I thought that the sets looked excellent, and even the forced perspective shots and using the little kitties and the lemon sharks. They were all just nice little touches. But overall, as a film, I think it's good. I like to watch it when there's nothing else on. And so for those reasons, I'm giving Team America World Police 3 solid fucks.
Okay, John, you or me?
I can go next if you'd like.
Yeah, lay it on me.
Well, regarding Team America World Police, I'm going to start with what I saw as the positives of this movie. I thought the writing was very unique. I thought they did a great job in getting their point across. It was bold and unapologetic humor. The songs, anytime you get a movie from, or even a movie from Trey and Matt, you always get fun songs. They're always hilarious. They're always very unique, and they get stuck in your head. We're going to be singing America Fuck Yeah for, I think, a couple weeks going forward. The scenes, we talked about it earlier. Everything was well executed the way that they did it. The backgrounds, the designs, it's almost like they thought of almost everything. And there is some good social commentary in this movie. Now, as for some negatives, the marionettes, the fucking marionettes. And it wasn't even the good kind of like puppets like Muppets, but it was the Thunderbird marionettes. I don't know. Again, from my childhood, I just had such bad experiences watching that show that I just couldn't get that out of my head of disliking the characters just right off the bat because of that. Also, the offensive and raunchy humor, while we still think it's funny, it really doesn't stand the test of time. I don't think audiences today will laugh at it as much as we laughed at it when it first came out. It's kind of that Blazing Saddles kind of thing of, back then, funny as hell. Today can be a little more offensive than funny to some people. There was also a lot of over-reliance on shock value. And that type of humor, while for me it's funny maybe the first time I hear it, the second time I hear it, it's somewhat funny. But then you start seeing that it's only funny because it's got, a shock to it. The plot was a little thin. There was inconsistent pacing, and it felt at times very heavy on the political commentary on trying to get its message across. Despite Team America's bold and unique humor, for me it falls short in key areas. The film's thin plot serves as a backdrop for an over-the-top action sequence, satirical jabs, and it lacks depth or complexity to engage the audiences. This movie relies on stereotypes to gain laughs, which comes off as, in my opinion, a little bit of lazy writing. If you're looking for a let's get out of your brain and just laugh type of movie, it's a really fun watch. If you want anything more, I'd suggest skipping it and going and watching like the South Park movie or Basketball or something else. But before I give my rating, Don, do you want to guess what the final's going to be?
Wow, you really did not like this movie. You're going to give this movie 2 fucks.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
For all the reasons I stated, I'm giving Team America, the World Police, 2 fucks. Good going.
That's a bingo. All right, Guy, you're up.
Team America World Police is a movie that I have not seen in, it's probably been 2 or 3 years. I've watched it several times. I find the movie to be very interesting to watch. I love the attention to the details in the settings that they have the marionettes running around. The lighthearted nature of the storyline is easily discernible because this is an absurd movie. Clearly an absurd movie. And with that, I can't take it that serious. And if I'm not taking it serious, then just go for the ride and enjoy the laughs, which is what I very much did. The puppetry of the marionettes, sometimes I couldn't see the wires at all. And when I couldn't see the wires at all, I kind of sort of bought it that was just a style of animation, if you will. And the only difference that we get in this type of a movie is sometimes you do see the strings, but I wasn't distracted by that. I also thought that the music the songs that they played, I loved them. The Team America logo, theme song, awesome. Kim Jong-il's "I'm So Lonely," it made me smile all the way through. And there were several times, I'm watching this by myself, or I am definitely laughing out loud. And the absurdity of some of the scenes, we're looking at these puppets, and these puppets, I'm buying the facial expression, and you're able to I am looking at the puppet thinking, this is just a blank puppet, but based on the way that the scene plays, you infer what that puppet, if it's a character, would be thinking in this moment, even though it's just a blank expression. So I find that very interesting, that I am moved because of that. The story arc of our different characters, it didn't bother me that there wasn't that much there because it's an absurd movie. The extreme of the raunchiness of the humor didn't bother me. It made me laugh as much as the last time that I saw it. I think that having the lampooning that happens to several walks of life, the Film Actors Guild, the over the topness of America and its pompous behavior, I totally agree with that. And so the whole thing for me, I didn't find any of it to be that disparaging. I didn't take any of it serious. It's not a movie to be taken serious in any way, in my opinion. And with that, I still think that it's a good watch, and I think that it is 3.25 fucks.
3.25 fucks from the professor, 3 fucks from me, 2 fucks from the comic book guy. That gives Team America World Police an average of 2.75 fucks, which now ties it in the 27th spot with The Black Swan. It is slightly better than The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Scrooged, and Atonement. And it is slightly worse than Solo, A Star Wars Story, Tommy Boy, The Last Dragon, and The Never Ending Story. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Three Guys in a Flick. If you would like to know which movie we're going to be reviewing next, please check out the website. Speaking of which, hey, John, where can they find us?
They can find us at 3guysinaflick.com, where we go ahead and post all of our show notes, movie trivia, anything else we feel like posting there. You can also find all of our podcasts, and you can find a form where you can submit a movie you would like us to review next. You can also find us at all of social media, as well as anywhere that hosts podcasts. And while you're listening to us, be sure to give us a rating and a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
All right. I just want to thank myself for picking Team America. I thought that was really good, and given by the professor's laughter, I'm happy that he watched it.
I do want to say a special thank you to Mike, who left us a comment on one of our podcasts, I think for Black Swan. Great to have Dawn back. Thanks for reviewing my movie, and I really enjoyed the episode. You guys are hilarious, as always. Keep up the great work. I always look forward to listening to you every week. Great comment, except for the part about Dawn being back. What, you didn't like me as the host?
Oh, poor you. Listen to this fucking guy.
We also had a comment for Sin City from Loke626. Yes. Got any beers? Thank you guys for doing this one. Well, thank you, Loke, for listening.
We just want to say again, happy birthday to America.
Fuck yeah.
And we want to thank anyone who listens and who has suggested a movie. If you keep listening, we'll keep recording. For Three Guys in a Flick, I'm Don.
I'm John.
And I'm Ken. Thanks for listening. Now it's time for both of you to show me how committed you are to this podcast. Suck my...
Ready? Let's get the show on the road. Every fucking week.
What did I do?
No, me, dude.
Oh.
Me. It's not always about you.
Well, I burped at the same time you did it.
Oh, that's convenient timing then, right? And to my left.
Are you going to be able to make it through this show tonight?
It's this fucker. Coming to you from Bakalakadaka Street, my name is Don.
You're not going to be able to get through that, are you?
Well, the professor's trying not to laugh, too.
I shouldn't have looked.
You shouldn't have looked. You look away. Don't look me in the eye. Don't look me in the eye. Fuck you. I never even thought about that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's too bad I got to cut it now. Can't come from you.
You want the professor to repeat all that?
No, I'm going to.
Oh.
On a German delegate's Punkelhabu.
No.
Pickelhabu?
No, call it a pickle helm.
All right. It's about that time. What do you got?
Nothing.
Liar. What do you got?
You want to hear mine first, or you want to go first?
I want you to go first.
Okay. Well, I've got 2 this time.
Of course you do. And let me guess.
I'm going to do in the order that I like them.
That's what I thought. Okay, go on.
So we've got Team America. I went with Cream America.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or I had Team America, Wood in My Pants.
Huh. Interesting. I like the Cream America. That's good. World Police. Scream America, World of Puss. I'd watch that one.
Which one was the better one, Professor?
I know they're both kind of. I know.
I had another one, but I'm not going to read it.
Why? Are you afraid I'm going to put it in there?
Yeah.
Then why did you even write it down?
I had also Scream America. Like Scream America.
Well, that's not bad. Scream America.
What was that, Matt Damon?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
You do sound special when you do that. What was the fucking name? All right. May all of your days and nights be filled with happiness. All right. Fuck up. Good night.